The first hint of something extraordinary came one chilly November evening. Olivia Carter, an ambitious astronomer in her mid-30s, sat hunched over a desk cluttered with printouts, coffee mugs, and the faint hum of her radio telescope data scanner. Data analysis felt like a well-rehearsed symphony, an endless flow of numbers and wavelengths that Olivia could navigate with instinctive precision. But tonight, something unusual happened. A pattern emerged where none should have existed. Olivia's heart raced as she stared at the screen, a mix of awe and disbelief gripping her. This was no ordinary anomaly. It felt purposeful, almost alive. It wasn't static, noise, or random. At first, Olivia dismissed it as interference. Solar flares, maybe. A rogue satellite. But the sequence kept repeating, almost musical in its cadence, a rhythmic pulse that seemed intentional. She played the sound on her old speakers, leaning closer as a chill danced up her spine. It wasn't just a signal, it was trying to say something. The pattern pulsed in measured intervals, short bursts followed by elongated hums. It was a language, but not one humanity had ever spoken. By morning, Olivia had run every algorithm she had, from Fourier transforms to advanced machine learning models, tweaking parameters and cross-referencing datasets in an attempt to decode its meaning. Nothing fit. Yet, the signal's persistence was undeniable. It was as though the message was waiting for her, for anyone, to crack its code. Unable to resist the magnetic pull of the mystery, she recorded the audio. She then uploaded it to a private forum for linguists and cryptographers, hoping someone, somewhere, might have a lead. Within hours, the thread exploded. Users worldwide were captivated, dissecting the pattern, offering theories. Some believed it was a prank, others thought it was a natural phenomenon, but a growing minority whispered a theory that Olivia herself had barely dared to consider: first contact. 2 days later, a private message from a linguist named Dr. Karim Patel caught Olivia's attention. His credentials were impressive, and his excitement was palpable. He claimed the pattern bore similarities to ancient human linguistic structures, tones and pauses mimicking an intricate form of communication. He needed access to the raw data to continue his analysis. Reluctantly, Olivia agreed, hesitating as she hovered over the send button. What if this fell into the wrong hands? What if sharing it unleashed forces she couldn't control? Still, the need to uncover the truth outweighed her fears, and with a deep breath, she sent Karim her recordings along with a plea for discretion. But the moment her files left her hard drive, Olivia's life changed. Her inbox flooded with interview requests. Government agencies reached out, some politely, others less so. She declined all, focusing solely on the work. Karim's updates came quickly. The pattern wasn't just communication, it seemed to respond to specific queries, subtly altering its rhythm and tone as if acknowledging the questions posed. It was as though the sender anticipated the nuances of human curiosity and crafted its responses to match. It was as if whoever sent it anticipated a conversation. Think of it as a Rosetta Stone of the cosmos, Karim said in his latest message. But how do you respond to something you can't yet understand? One evening, exhausted and running on nothing but caffeine and nerves, Olivia had an idea. What if the signal was incomplete? She cross-referenced her data with other observatories' findings and discovered similar signals detected in scattered regions of Earth. Stitching them together, she unveiled a sequence far more complex than she'd imagined. It wasn't a single message, it was a dialogue, fragmented and waiting to be pieced together. As Olivia and Karim collaborated, they noticed something chilling. Embedded in the signal was a 3-dimensional map, coordinates, and a date just 2 weeks away. The realization struck like a thunderclap. Something, or someone, had set this meeting with a precision that defied coincidence. Time was slipping, and the stakes loomed larger with each passing moment. It wasn't merely a message, it was an invitation to meet. The days that followed were a whirlwind of preparation. Olivia's home office turned into a command center, with whiteboards full of equations, maps tacked to walls, and data sheets strewn across the desk. Karim, equally engrossed, called at odd hours with updates and theories. Together, they worked tirelessly, piecing together what felt like fragments of a vast cosmic riddle. The coordinates pointed to an isolated spot in northern Arizona, deep within the Sonoran Desert. Rugged cliffs and sparse vegetation defined the area, a place so desolate it seemed deliberately chosen to amplify its isolation. The emptiness heightened the suspense, making it feel as though the desert itself was guarding the secrets of this rendezvous. As the countdown to the meeting ticked closer, an unspoken tension built between them, the enormity of the situation weighing heavy. When Karim arrived in person, his sharp eyes betrayed a mix of excitement and caution, the latter stemming from the sheer enormity of what they were attempting. He moved with deliberate precision, his words measured, as though any misstep could unravel the fragile trust they hoped to establish. It was clear he understood the gravity of their mission, and that awareness seemed to weigh heavily on him. "If this really is first contact," he said gravely, "every step matters. This isn't just about us, it's humanity's chance to prove we're ready." His words resonated deeply with Olivia, amplifying the stakes. They agreed to keep their findings secret, fearing the chaos that could follow a premature revelation. Yet the pressure mounted. Olivia noticed unmarked SUVs idling near her house and strange calls she couldn't trace. It was clear someone else was paying attention. As the date neared, the signal intensified, its rhythmic pulses becoming more intricate, almost alive. "It's like it's waiting for us," Karim murmured one night, his voice tinged with awe. These changes added to the urgency, and Olivia's nerves frayed under the weight of anticipation. The day arrived with little fanfare but palpable tension. Loading their equipment into a plain van, Olivia and Karim avoided attention and embarked on the long drive. The desert's vastness enveloped them, its quiet broken only by the hum of their GPS. As they neared the coordinates, the terrain shifted subtly, the air grew heavier, charged with an almost tangible energy. When they arrived, the scene felt surreal. The golden glow of the setting sun bathed the cliffs in an otherworldly light. The silence was profound, as if the desert itself held its breath. Olivia and Karim set up their equipment, their practiced efficiency belying the nerves that tightened their movements. The signal pulsed with an intensity that seemed to resonate through the ground, as if the earth itself had joined the dialogue. As the last rays of sunlight faded, the signal abruptly stopped. The void it left was almost oppressive, a silence that seemed to press down on them. Olivia's heart pounded as she glanced at Karim, searching his face for reassurance. Before she could speak, it happened. A cascade of light burst from the cliffs, flowing like liquid gold. It illuminated the desert in a way that defied description, both radiant and warm. Shapes formed within the brilliance, shifting and blending into patterns that eluded comprehension. The beauty was overwhelming, and both Olivia and Karim stood frozen, their carefully laid plans forgotten. The light didn't speak in words but through emotions and vivid impressions that flooded their minds, a kaleidoscope of wonder, curiosity, and cautious invitation. Each wave of light carried feelings of unity and a profound awareness of connection, as though they were being drawn into a shared consciousness older and wiser than their own. Olivia gasped as she clutched Karim's arm, overwhelmed by the torrent of sensations. The message was undeniable: "We are here. We are listening. Will you speak?" In the cascading glow, Olivia and Karim stood motionless, their minds racing to grasp its meaning, awestruck by the sheer magnitude of the moment. The air seemed to hum with a presence, as though the very universe had turned its attention to this remote corner of the earth. They exchanged a glance, a silent agreement forged from shared awe and resolve. In that moment, they both understood the magnitude of their role to be not just witnesses, but participants in a dialogue that could reshape humanity's place in the cosmos. They had to respond. Karim, hands trembling, reached for the small transmitter they had brought, preloaded with tones and frequencies derived from the signal itself. "We've come this far," he said softly, his voice carrying both awe and resolve. Olivia nodded, her heart pounding in her chest. Together, they initiated the sequence, sending a simple response back, a pattern of tones that mirrored the original signal but added their own layer, a human signature. The reaction was immediate. The golden light shifted, its patterns swirling faster like a cosmic dance, forming shapes that seemed to bloom and collapse in an endless cycle of creation. Threads of light intertwined, forming a hypnotic dance that suggested both order and chaos, their movement captivating yet elusive. The sensations in their minds intensified, a rush of clarity and understanding that transcended language. Olivia felt as though she was standing on the threshold of a vast knowledge, glimpsing a fragment of something far greater. Images, emotions, and concepts cascaded into her thoughts, not answers, but possibilities. They weren't being given knowledge outright, they were being invited to embark on a journey of discovery. It was an open door, a challenge to decode mysteries, ask questions, and engage in a mutual exchange of understanding that transcended boundaries. "It's an exchange," Karim murmured, his voice thick with emotion. "They're offering us a dialogue, not domination or control. This is their way of saying they trust us." His words sent a shiver down Olivia's spine. She understood now why the message had been so carefully crafted. It wasn't just a test of intelligence, it was a test of intent, a challenge to demonstrate not only their ability to understand but their willingness to approach the unknown with humility and respect. The stakes weren't just intellectual, they were moral. The light began to recede, the golden cascade slowly dimming until only a faint glow remained, pulsing gently in time with the signal. The warmth lingered, and with it, a profound sense of connection. Olivia and Karim stood in silence, absorbing the enormity of what had just transpired. "What do we do now?" Olivia finally asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Karim looked at her, his expression a mixture of determination and wonder. "We continue the conversation. We share what we've learned, carefully and responsibly. This isn't just ours, it belongs to everyone. But it's up to us to make sure it's handled with the respect it deserves." As they packed up their equipment under the starlit desert sky, Olivia felt a strange sense of peace. The journey wasn't over, if anything, it was evolving into a deeper challenge, to bridge the divide, to nurture this connection, and to unlock the vast possibilities that now lay ahead. The signal would continue, its rhythms carrying the promise of something greater. For the first time in days, she didn't feel fear or anxiety. Instead, she felt hope. The light faded entirely, leaving the desert in its natural stillness. Yet, in that quiet, Olivia and Karim felt the echoes of something profound, a shift not just in their understanding, but in humanity's narrative. The stillness was no longer a void, it was a canvas, waiting to be filled with the possibilities they had glimpsed. But Olivia and Karim knew the world had changed. Somewhere out there, in the infinite expanse of the cosmos, they weren't alone. The connection they had forged was a reminder of humanity's potential, to seek, to understand, and to be part of something far greater than themselves. And now, they had a chance to prove they were worthy of being heard.